Hello, and welcome to this video. My name is Charles Clement Avul, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. This is where I get to create videos that help beginners and even some professionals who just want to go over some of their skills in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all right, and even React JS. So in this video, I'm going to be showing us how to build a responsive navigation bar, all right? So this video is actually for people who are just starting out learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So it's a small project to help you to understand concepts in responsive web design. So what are we going to build, all right? So I'm just going to bring up what we're going to be building right now. All right, so this is what we're going to be building. A responsive navigation bar that looks like this on the mobile screen. You just have your logo on the left and you have a menu button on the right. All right, and then on large screen, you have your logo on the left. You have your links um, about centered position, and then you have like your authentication buttons or login and register buttons. I think I'll change this login and register to sign in, sign up, so that we have about the same size of text. So this is what we are going to be building: how to create a navigation bar that looks like this on mobile screens or small size devices, small width devices, and looks more expanded on the larger devices. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and start working immediately. The very first thing we'll need to do is to create our HTML skeleton. All right, that's the very first thing that we need to do: create our HTML skeleton. All right, excellent, good. So we're going to set up our page. I'll create a project file. Let me just open up my desktop where we're going to be creating this. Hold on for me. Just hold on a bit. Just give me a second. Let me set this up properly. All right. Okay, just hold on a bit. Just hold on a bit. All right, just hold on a bit. Okay. So I'm going to bring up my desktop because this is where I'm going to be creating the project in. So I'll just, if you're using Windows 10 or Windows 11, I think it's similar. If you go to your desktop, you see I have a number of project files here. But if you look at your top left, you see a button that says new. Click on it, and then you create a new folder. All right, so I'm going to call this folder navigation bar. All right, so that will be the name of the project folder where we will be building our responsive navigation bar. So right ahead, I'm going to right click on this folder. All right, I'm going to right click on this folder. The system is a bit slow, so bear with me. So I'm going to right click on this folder, and then you see there's a summary pop-up that comes up. This is like a Windows 10 and 11 thing. So I'll click show more options and then open with code. So once I click open with code, immediately it opens up my VS Code. So I'm going to bring up my VS Code right in view now. Excellent. All right. So this is my VS Code. I hope it is very clear and you can see. So you see that's the name of my project folder, navigation bar. All right. So the very first thing we will need to do is to create an entry file, an index.html file. Remember, the technologies we are using: HTML, we are using CSS. All right. So just HTML and CSS. We don't need any JavaScript for this project. So I'm going to be creating index.html file. Now, if you're in, this is a VS Code editor, by the way. I like VS Code because it's pretty light and it comes with features that allow you to really access a lot of other applications and third-party features that you need. It has an extension market where you can install a lot of extensions that help with code and all of that. So I'm going to create our first file. The icons here, the first icon is for creating a new file. So I'll click on that, and then I will type the name of the file index, and the extension is .html. Sorry, HTML. Excellent. So this has created a brand new HTML file for me, and in this HTML file is where we're going to be writing our code, the code for the navigation bar. My VS Code is a bit slow. I think maybe because I have so many background systems running, so it's a bit slow, but it will come up definitely. Definitely it will come up. Aha, voila. So I now have my index.html file all set. So the first thing I will do is to create a boilerplate. All right. So remember, this video is actually for people who have actually started trying out their hands on HTML and CSS. All right. So there's a short code for creating a boilerplate HTML, and that is you press your shift, hold it, press the number 1 on your keyboard, and once you see the spanner sign, you click enter, and that brings up a simple boilerplate HTML template. So I'm going to edit the title content and make that responsive, right? Responsive nav, sorry, nav is nav bar. Excellent. So with this, I'm going to start adding my HTML, because for any content to be displayed in the browser, obviously you have to have some HTML. So the element we are going to be needing, basically we just need one element, and that's okay, we need multiple elements, but the container element is going to be a header element. So our navigation is going to be wrapped in a header element. All right, and we're going to give this header element a class name of main dash header. All right, so that is the class name of our header. In it, I'm going to add some more elements. So remember what we are working with. Remember, this is what we're building. So we're going to start building the mobile version first, because of a web development convention of always building your mobile screens first. All right, so we're going to work with that. All right, so that is what we are going to be working with. So just a moment. I'm going to be building our mobile screens first. All right, glory. So just a minute, just a minute, just a minute, just a minute. All right, so that's what we are going to be building. That's what we're going to be building. All right, just a moment. I need to put this up properly. Put this up properly. All right, excellent. So what we are going to do now is to start adding some of the other elements. You remember in the picture I just displayed, we need a logo element, and we need a menu button. All right, and of course, because of a large screen, we also need some links. So let's add the very first element. So I'll create a div, and this div basically will have a class name of logo, and that will be the class that will be the container that actually holds our logo. All right, that will be the container that holds our logo, and in it I'll just put a logo text. All right, logo text. So if you like, you can put maybe an h2 element or an h3. That's fine, but for the purpose of this class, I'll just add a simple logo in the div. The next thing is I'm going to create an input element, and this input element is going to be very, very instrumental to what we are trying to achieve. All right, and it's going to be an input element of type checkbox, because it's a checkbox, and I'll explain why that is so important. So it's going to act as a toggle for us, a toggle element. All right, so the very next thing I'm going to add is a label. All right, I'll put a label element, and in this label element, the 4 attributes will have exactly the same name as the ID of the input, because the label is for the input. Now, if we're to go live, let's see what we have so far. Let's see what we have so far. We're going live now. We're going live now. As I said, my system is a bit slow, so please bear with us. Bear with me if you see there's some lag. Okay, it's coming up now. All right, so as we can see, we just have two elements appearing. So we have the logo and we have our checkbox. All right, we have our logo and we have our checkbox. So it's going to act as a toggle. So we click it, it comes on, click it, it goes off. All right, so let's set this dev. Let's set our browser in dev mode so that it allows us to develop in mobile mode, so that we are developing mobile mode. I'm going to set this to 375. All right, so these are the two elements that are visible. All right, so excellent. So what we are going to do is we're going to go back to our code and continue working. So right now we have a label, and that label works for our input element. All right, then inside the label I'm going to put a span element. All right, so this span element will be actually empty, but for now I'm going to give it some content so that it's visible for us, and I'm going to give it a class name of Hamburger. All right, because a hamburger is like, it's typical of what we are trying to achieve. All right, so if you look here, if you look at this icon, or if you look at this button, it looks like a hamburger, 3-layered hamburger. All right, so that's what we're trying to achieve. Great, 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 great. All right, that's what we're trying to achieve. So excellent. So the next thing now, we will put some text so that it appears. For now, temporarily, we're going to put some text for our hamburger span so that it is visible for it, but ultimately we are not going to need any text. So let's click on the span. You see that it's working excellently. Click on the span, it toggles our checkbox in and out. Now in the design, as you can remember, we are not going to be seeing any span or any checkbox. We just need an icon, but for now, for the purpose of development, we will put the span there so that it allows us to see where our toggle is actually for now. The next element, let me just close this file now so that I have more room on the screen. So the next element we're going to create is our nav element, which will hold all our links. You know, our links will not show by default on the smaller width or small screens like mobile screens, but it will be there. We'll still have the links. It's just that they will not be displayed by default. So I'll give this a class name of navbar. All right, I'll give it a class name of navbar, and inside our navbar I'm going to create a UL element, which is an unordered list element. I'll give it a UL element, give it a class name of nav-list. Of course, you're at liberty when practicing to give it your own class names, but just keep them descriptive. Next, I'll create an li element, and this li element will have a class name of nav item, because that is what it is. It's a nav item, and inside the li I'm going to create links. All right, I'll create an anchor link element. For now they're not going anywhere, so I'm going to be giving it some hashtag in the href and a class name of nav links. All right, so I'm going to be giving it the class name of nav links. All right, and I will need 3 of these. All right, because we observe the design, we have 3 of them. The first one will be home, the second one will be about, I guess, and the last one will be contact. All right, just three of those links. Excellent. All right, so each of them will be nav link. Excellent. So let's see what it looks like right now in our browser. All right, fantastic. We're making progress. All right, so now we have more elements on the screen. We have our logo, we have our span element, which represents our toggle icon, and then we have the links. All right, the home, the about, and the contact us. So one more time, let me bring the design back in view so we get to see what we are working on. All right, so this is what we are building for now. We're building the mobile version of our navigation bar. All right, so let's continue. So if you look critically, we have a lot of the things that we want already. Our logo is there, but pretty much a lot of these will not be visible on the mobile screen. So what else are we going to add? The next elements we're going to add will be the sign in and the sign up elements. So I'm going to put them up in a div, and I'm going to give it a class name of log reg, all right, nav, all right, log reg nav. So in this, I'll create the links, and I'm going to give them a class name of login for the first one, and it will be asterisks as well because they're not really going anywhere. And in here, I'm going to use sign in, all right, sign in with a dash, a hyphen in between. Then I will duplicate this, and this one will have a class name of, let's say, register. Of course, you can change the class names to sign in as well, sign in, sign up. All right, so this works. All right, so now we have this, but I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to create a second copy of this very div, but the second copy will be outside the nav. All right, I'll place it outside the nav, and I'll explain why this is necessary as we go along. And I'll change the class name from log reg to log header. All right, excellent. So we have this. So if we go back to our browser, you see that we now have more elements. We have our sign in, the two sign in and sign up that we have in the browser. Okay, all right, that's excellent. So I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to stop it right here, and in our next video we are going to continue and begin styling. Right now we have actually created everything that has to do with the HTML. So in the next video we're going to start adding the CSS styles and other necessary things. So thank you very much, and see you in the next video.